What's up, y'all? My name is JR, and for those of you who don't already know, I'm a huge movie and TV nerd. If you're new here, I appreciate you taking the time to check out my channel. I hope you'll consider sticking around and joining the film community I'm trying to build here on YouTube. So in today's video, I'm going to be giving my reaction and review of Philippe Lacoste's Amazon Prime original film, Killer Heat. And just so you guys know, this video will contain spoilers, so if for some reason you haven't gotten around to watching this movie yet, and you don't want to know anything that happens in it, you might want to exit this video now. And with that being said, no more wasting time. Let's get into it. Killer Heat is an American-made crime mystery drama film directed by Philippe Lacoste and written by Roberto Benventegna and Matt Sharman. Based on Joe Nesbo's short story, The Jealousy Man, about twin brothers who are caught in a violent love triangle and a damaged detective, Nick Bali, also known as the Jealousy Man, who was brought in to investigate the case. The film stars Joseph Gordon-Levitt, Shailene Woodley, and Richard Madden. It was released by Amazon Prime Video on September 26th of this year. Now, at the time of the making of this video, the movie has a 0%, that's right, a 0% on Rotten Tomatoes based on only 10 critic reviews. And there isn't a rating on the popcorn meter just yet because there are fewer than 50 verified ratings. The film also doesn't have a Metascore yet on Metacritic because there are less than 4 critic reviews to this point. And the same goes for the film's user rating. And finally, it has a 5.5 out of 10 on IMDb with just under 400 ratings. So I'll start by stating that I didn't hear a lot about this film online, and apparently neither did a lot of other people, if you want to take the lack of ratings on the aggregate sites as an indication of that. And honestly, I only happened to notice the movie when I went to Amazon Prime to watch the latest episode of Rings of Power, so do with that what you will. But after taking the time to watch this movie, I'll just say I can understand why not a whole lot was made of it before it was released. Now, having said that, digging into the writing, I thought the writing here was just okay. The story arc was rather predictable. It's formulaically speaking, just like all the other noir whodunits that have happened before. And in fact, as soon as you realize that the story involves twins and that one of the twins was murdered at the beginning of the story, you know that the killer will be the other twin. Which kind of ruined a lot of the fun. That simply leaves the inevitable twist. And I'll admit that I wasn't able to guess that exactly until it was revealed, so I guess that's something. Now, I thought the dialogue was fairly pedestrian, though it was helped out a bit by Gordon-Levitt and Woodley and their acting prowess. Now, thematically speaking, this film explores love, death, justice, and even family drama. More specifically, it focuses on jealousy. It's supposed to explore the idea that jealousy can distort relationships and ultimately lead to tragic outcomes. But this theme is explored here in the movie with mixed results, if you ask me. While the film attempts to kind of parallel the murder mystery as it unfolds with Nick Bali's personal story, the execution leaves a lot to be desired, in my opinion. Nick's obsessive jealousy over his wife's affair ultimately destroyed his marriage, and it continues to haunt him in the film. But his internal struggle rarely influences how he approaches solving the case he was brought to the island to solve, so it's kind of rendered essentially meaningless, narratively speaking. Now, the investigation unfolds independently, while Nick's personal issues are only explored in brief, isolated flashbacks, rather than being used to shape the decisions he makes or the relationships that he has with the people he's investigating. And as a result, his backstory feels more like an afterthought, kind of disjointed and disconnected from the main story, which I think undermines both the mystery itself as well as Nick's character arc. And speaking of character arcs, I also thought that Penelope's character was also underdeveloped. There is a key scene involving her near the end of the film where she confesses to feeling trapped in her marriage, but you never quite get to the place where you can feel bad for her because the character lacked depth. There was also a moment where she reacts to Leo's murder, expressing guilt and sorrow. But again, it fails to land for the same reason. I personally don't think that Shailene Woodley's character got enough screen time. So despite a halfway decent job by her acting-wise, I just didn't care about her, or the twins for that matter, as it pertains to the supposed love triangle that leads to Leo's murder in the first place. One of the film's most frustrating aspects, if you ask me, was its reliance on narration. I always tell people you have to be really, really careful with having your main character narrate things, because you kind of are, when you do that, you kind of get yourself in this situation where you kind of want to tell instead of show, and that's a writing no-no. There's a scene where Nick questions one of the suspects, and as the camera lingers on their nervous expression, the narration awkwardly reiterates that, they're hiding something. But we can see the look on their face, so we kind of already understand that they may be hiding something. And this is where I feel like a lot of times filmmakers think that the audience is stupid. And you need to respect your audience. Show them what's happening and then let them figure it out. That's kind of, the mode that I like to try to get into, when I'm writing. And so moments like this kind of distract or detract from the mystery's tension, and it makes the narration feel more like a crutch than an enhancement of the storytelling. Now, another thing about this movie was its predictability. It plagued the story from start to finish, because it doesn't even try to build suspense. Instead, it tips its hand very early on, leaving very little opportunity for any sort of surprise as it pertains to whodunit. And when you're talking about a murder mystery, maintaining intrigue is absolutely crucial. But the movie's narrative approach undermines any potential plot twist that may be revealed. So when the twist actually arrives, while fitting with the theme of jealousy, it feels inevitable rather than surprising. Now, overall, I give this film a 45%, or 4.5 you're thinking IMDb score. This movie was great from a visual standpoint with its beautiful Greek island setting. It looked really, really, really nice, right? It made you long for a vacation, you feel me? But it felt like the filmmaker sought to use the visuals to provide cover for the film's narrative shortcomings, as the story never quite reaches the suspenseful heights it seems to aspire to. I'm also going to tell you guys, look, we've seen this movie before, literally. It's no different than the typical noir style whodunits that have come before it, excuse me. And, by the time the film ends, the message on the dangers of jealousy is overshadowed by its extremely predictable plot. The tragic outcome, though thematically appropriate, it lacks emotional impact necessary to leave a lasting impression. This movie is extremely forgettable. I'm just going to go ahead and tell you I watched this movie so you don't have to type of movie. In the end, the movie offers serviceable performances from its main cast, but the film's disjointed structure, underdeveloped characters, and lack of suspense proved to be its undoing. And while I thought the film's exploration of jealousy did have potential, the film itself fell well short of it, ultimately proving to be rather forgettable. But what do you guys think? Have you had a chance to see Killer Heat yet? If you have, what did you think of it? Let me know in the comments. And for those of you that might be new to the channel, be sure to like and share this video. If you really like the content, be sure to subscribe and hit that notification bell. That way you'll be notified whenever I drop a new video. You can also now support the channel by leaving a super thanks. If you should be so inclined, I'd really appreciate it. Also, be sure to go and check out themadScreenwriter.com for more television and film reviews and info on my upcoming film projects. And with that, I'm going to go ahead and get out of here. I got screenplays to write, and I'll catch y'all on the next video.